How do y'all feel after eclipses? Here's a few questions I have. How can we predict when eclipses are going to happen, right? If they're random, like we don't have like a Doppler out there to predict eclipses. And before y'all put in the comments what they teach you in school, what NASA teaches you, realize that NASA controls pretty much everything you know about space. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so how are these eclipses happening so frequently, and how do we know when they're going to happen? If the sun and moon are rotating above us, how do they link up in the way they do so that the moon comes in front of the sun? Okay, and let's see what the ancients said about eclipses, because I personally believe like the term or the phrase new moon is quite literal. And it's this energy that comes after eclipses, and it's always, it's like it's no coincidence that it's in Scorpio season, right? And Scorpio is the eighth house, the house of like rebirth, death, sexual urges, right? Happens around Halloween, and there's usually a sacrifice that happens around it. This year it was Matthew Perry and some others. I believe 2 years ago it was like Astro, and it's usually around the World Series. So there's this routine that happens, especially with sacrifices, that I believe we're missing here. But I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. It might seem far-fetched to some, but I believe that eclipses are controlled, and it's like an energetic shift. Like it changes the way people operate and feel and think. Like I can literally feel the difference after the eclipse versus before the eclipse. Okay, so the ancient Greeks believed that an eclipse was a punishment and abandonment. The English word eclipse is derived from the Greek eklipio, meaning disappearance. The Greeks, or at least those who were involved in the scientific community, believed that an eclipse foretold the gods punishing the king. And then it goes on to say, the last sentence, after the eclipse, they executed the captives as a cautionary protection. So it's like sacrifices preceding the eclipse. Chinese astronomers were able to predict eclipses by 206 AD. How, bro? How? But the Chinese, according to the Chinese, the sun was eaten by a heavenly dog or dragon. The same dragon ate the moon during lunar eclipses. The Chinese word for eclipse is derived from shi, meaning to eat, to ward off the celestial dragon. The Chinese believe that people should bang on drums, pots, and pans to frighten it away. This folk tradition persists around the world today. The Norse, again, is this eating, right, of the moon. The Norse or Viking civilization believed that the sun and moon were pursued by two wolves, Hades and Skull. Skull and Hades tried to catch and eat the sun and moon respectively. If Hades and Skull both succeeded, it foretold Ragnarok, or the end of the world, as they did in China. The Viking people made noises to frighten the wolves and hasten the return of the sun or moon. The Inuit civilization believed that the sun and moon were siblings. When the world was created, they fought amongst themselves, and the sun, Melina, deserted her brother Anakin, the moon. Anakin pursued her, and when caught her, he eclipsed her light. His pursuit also explains the cycles of the moon, as Anakin lost weight when he chased his sister. Ancient India. In Hindu pantheon found in much of ancient India, the demigod Rahu is responsible for eclipses. In a daring heist, Rahu took the nectar of immortality from the god Vishnu. Vishnu decreed that Rahu would lose his head. Rahu's head, still filled with the elixir, remained alive while his body did not. Angry with the sun and moon, who had told Vishnu to chop off his head, Rahu pursued them across the sky. When he had caught them, he would eat them, but only temporarily, as he had no arms to catch them and no stomach for them to rest in, and thus began the chase once again. In Mayan tradition, star demons were responsible for eating the sun and moon during eclipses. Mayans believed that the planets were the star demons since they were visible in the sky during total eclipses. Imagery and stories depicted the demons as insects or snakes. The Lagadon, a people whose descendants live in the Mexican state of Chiapas, believed that the eclipses would cause the earth to split, releasing jaguars that would devour people and lay waste to the land. They had a huge imagination. All right, so you can pause to read number 7 up there. Okay, so I'm going to read the Aztec, but I'm going to focus on the last sentence here, or 2 sentences. In Aztec myth, blood sacrifices were necessary to ward off disaster. Aztec myth also holds that eclipses are dangerous for pregnant women, a superstition that persists in some parts of the world today. Now, that's interesting because women, they link up with the moon like their cycles. And when women are in the same room, I have four sisters, so I know when women are in the same room, their cycles link up together. So this would make sense that an eclipse would mess with the woman's cycle. Like there's something to this that we're missing here. And the last sentence here says eclipses, this is the summary. Eclipses are fascinating points of attraction today, but they have historically highlighted the vivid imagination and even paranoia of humanity. Okay, so we are taught that eclipses happen because the sun, the earth, and the moon are aligned in a way that the moon can cover the sun, but of the sun and the moon are beneath the firmament, right? Spinning on a magnetic node going above us, right? And the moon is just being recharged. Then what is the truth? What do you feel about eclipses? How do you feel after eclipses? Do you feel confused? Do you feel recharged? Women, what's your situation down there after the eclipse? I would like to know. Now, we know that we're mostly made up of water. And when it's a full moon, people become lunatics, right? A little bit out there. So when an eclipse happens and everything is full, how do you think that affects us? I'll leave you with that question. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, make sure you like, follow, and share. Thank y'all for watching. Take care of yourself and follow the truth. I love y'all. Peace.